You can't talk about preventing sexual violence without naming what the good thing is, right? What safe and equitable relationships are. You can't talk about what safe and equitable sexual or romantic relationships are without defining what physical and emotional intimacy is, what sex is, what consent is, what our rights to bodily autonomy and healthcare are. You can't talk about child abuse prevention without talking about body parts, without talking about healthy relationships and boundaries. What safe and equitable relationships look like, feel like, sound like with other kids, with family members, with other adults. In other words, you can't say just avoid something, what we've been doing for decades in the sex ed world, without saying what safe and equitable relationships are, what our rights are, and where we can access healthcare. By exploring questions such as kind of what responsibilities do we have to each other, to our friends, to our family, to our larger communities, how do we promote equity in our own relationships, in our families, and in our communities, and how do we navigate challenging emotions and conflict? The research really shows that the most powerful violence prevention message is really that everyone in our communities, folks from all genders, from all backgrounds, from all cultures and abilities, all deserve mutual respect and kindness. Comprehensive sexuality education supports young people to reflect on and promote their own health and well-being, to explore what's safe and equitable, what are safe and equitable relationships, what type of relationships do they want in their lives, and how do they contribute to communities that they want to be a part of, right? Sex ed covers so much. This is the way we all come together and work towards creating in Oregon a world that is truly violence-free. And I don't find that we often think about violence prevention in such a broad and beautiful way. We have the chance to really kind of plant these seeds for students to think critically about oppression and inequity, and how that also leads to violence and bullying in our schools and in our society at large. If we start setting these messages early for young people, we're really changing the world. And that's why sex ed is such a critical cornerstone to violence prevention work. From how to communicate needs and values, to skills to identify and develop healthy relationships, to practice setting and respecting boundaries, to learning that we all have rights, and that we all are worthy of respect and dignity, and so much more. These are all critical pieces of preventing violence and abuse. It's really about culture and systems and norms. It's about celebrating one another. It's about being in community with one another. It's about us cohering and developing social norms that encourage healthy relationships, equitable relationships, and sexuality. And that's what sex ed is.